remember you as a freshman coming in, very small, short.
You've grown a bit. You were a tiny, little scrawny kid, but...
Oh, the other thing, when you were a freshman, you were really, really short.
Quiet, timid, shy, but very academically driven, and you focused a lot on your studies, and I didn't really see you come out of your shell yet. A lot of you, when I look back at you 4 years ago, are very different from where you are now as a senior. So your transformation socially has grown enormously, and your academics obviously have gotten much better.
Frankly, I think you were really, really interested in making your mom and dad proud. And that's not unusual. I mean, freshmen take their identity still from their parents. There's a certain amount from peer, but that shifts over time. If early on you had shown like really good promise as a runner, you probably would have been an extremely dedicated runner. But there was always that hope, you know, that you would be a super duper lacrosse player. And that got in the way of you being able to do as much as you would do as a runner. But
as a freshman, John was superficially the same as he is now, I think. I think his social persona was similar. He was an elastic bubble of energy. And as you went through your period where the rug was pulled out from under you with lacrosse, you came out the other side still a very optimistic and sentimental person, and not like a cynical, pessimistic asshole.
Mr. Schukert's freshman theology class. Yeah, just Mr. Schukert's freshman theology class.
We're not friends.
We're not friends. I hate you, John. Freshman year theology with Mr. Schukert. Freshman year theology class with Mr. Schukert. Became friends freshman year in Mr. Schukert's theology class. Freshman year theology class, I first became acquainted with John and Guzzi. First became friends with you freshman year theology with Mr. Schukert. We have become better friends. John, no one knows an answer to these questions. They're so awkward.
Friendship has grown through the time that we've known each other.
I watched you guys run around Innsbruck and, you know, have no fear of being in a city where they didn't speak our language. And you guys ventured out on your own with really no fear, or I don't know what the word is, but what word am I looking for? You just went out and had fun, and you didn't really let the unknown scare you. Whereas as freshmen, I think you would have been a little bit more timid in a town where they did not speak our language, nor was there English written anywhere.
trends continued because you got involved in other kinds of things. Athletics less defined you, lacrosse less defined you. And that's kind of a tough lesson for some kids because they come here and whether it's play soccer or play golf or tennis or whatever, they come in and find it's real competitive. So how do you find your way? How do you find your mark?
I remember his house being the social hub of the St. Thomas alum. I remember that's probably where we gathered the most. I think that's where like most of my dances and stuff have been. But that's still a very superficial appraisal.
I think as a senior you represent everything that Fairfield Prep tries to instill in our kids. Loving, caring, open to growth. Your commitment and your service to others is phenomenal. You've always been one of the lead members for the Cardinal Key Society in the past 3 years. You are a phenomenal friend to the group of friends that you have here. You never turn your back on them. You're supportive.
In terms of being on the team, we always liked having you on the team because we never felt like the way you run was the big benefit. It was that you were a good guy to have on the team.
John has two abilities that I marvel at the most. One of them is to not care what people think about him very much, and the other is part of that, which is to piss people off so often, so much for such small things. I don't know why people love being pissed off at John Guzzi. However, it impresses me very much because he doesn't really care what other people think, which has always impressed me a lot.
You strive to be one of the best, so if that's what our goal at Fairfield Prep is to produce the best of the best kids, you would be the epitome of what Fairfield Prep strives to send off to college.
I think you coached me really well in lacrosse, basketball, and my homework. You're awesome at coaching because we're undefeated in lacrosse.
But we don't play to be undefeated, do we?
What?
We don't play to be undefeated, do we?
Yeah.
I think John buys into the Prep Brotherhood a lot, which normally would put him in my blacklist, but John does it free of pretension, which is impressive to me. Like some other luminaries. Can do that. I don't get how you can be like, yeah, Prep, and not make me hate you, but you do that, John. That's impressive. At the same time, you spend a lot of time with your family, and you like sports a lot, and those are two other things that I like don't understand, but you do it without seeming like pretentious, like manly man. And I think, as you've described it, probably moving around so much as a kid probably gives you a strong center, and that's what I think of when I think of John Guzzi. He's got a strong center. Okay.
Your friends are really nice to me, and I think they didn't come over just to see me, not you.
Who are your favorite of my friends?
I have 3 favorites: Christian Moore, Matt Considine, and Mike Noon.
Nobody else?
Nope.
Those are your favorites?
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, and Billy's really funny.
How have you changed in the last 4 years? Not really at all.
My guess is your mom and dad are probably pretty proud of you.
And that's what I probably envy you the most of. Is John Guzzi also deserves to be recognized as the originator of the hipster glasses at Fairfield Prep College Preparatory. This would not be on this man's face if it had not first been on this man's face, and before that been on John Guzzi's face, which they are no longer. I don't get it. People like hated John for wearing them, but he started it, and he deserves credit for that.
This is true.
This is true.
You like that it's all boys?
Yes!
What about girls?
No! Girls are poopy.
This is a memory that I remember very fondly, but will probably sound like the most sadistic, horrible thing that's ever happened to anybody. As a boy, I was malformed and malnourished, and I had a disease called scoliosis. It still afflicts me to this day. For that, I had to wear an elaborate contraption. I had to wear an elaborate contraption that would align my spine, and it was this like brace that covered my body and was very sexy, I think. But something we would do in St. Thomas, which John says is his most like memorable memory of me, is that I would wear the brace and it would protect my body, and I would stand against the chalkboard in our French class and students would throw books at my chest. And I would just, I loved it apparently, is what John tells me. It's probably a suppressed memory, and John's like re-educating me that it was, go ahead Pete, throw, just in this fashion. Ha 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 ha! What fun! So that's what John's favorite memory of me is.
Oh, this is horrible. I'm not even in 2009 yet.
How has my friendship grown? What was it?
I think it's really good that Jeju is a part of your school because it makes you more holy.
Biology excursions.